One of the things I like to do on my channel, it's kind of hard to respond to every single comment. It's really easy to read every single one, but it's a little bit harder to respond to every single one. So what I like to do every month or every couple of months on my channel is make a video where I specifically respond to you alls that are watching this video, questions and comments, right? So if I didn't catch yours in this video and I didn't actually respond to it, then please let me know down below and I'll try to include it in my next video. Before we jump into any of that, please, super special shout out to every single person you see listed right here. They are all members of my Patreon family over on patreon.com/SirHuntsReviews. And without them, this video wouldn't be possible. Alone that. Now the first comment comes from Dennis4Seer, and he says, "Geez Louise, Georgie, finish the Song of Ice and Fire, will you? I've heard of writer's block, but this is epic." Now that, of course, comes from a comment that I did. It's actually not about Winds of Winter or anything really. It was a new book, right? It was an art companion piece that came out for the House of the Dragon series. And in that video, I discuss how it's kind of crazy that, we're getting all these other books and we haven't had the main series finished yet. We're still waiting on Winds of Winter and A Dream of Spring, right? But George is a grown-ass man, and he can do whatever he wants. So he and his publishers, I'm pretty sure, pushed him into doing it. They decided to release a companion piece with artworks to go along with Fire and Blood Part 1. If you're a big fan of books like myself, well, then you're a big fan of this book because you get to visualize what everything looks like when you're reading it. But it's even better to see pictures to go along with it. Like, that's one of the reasons why everybody was so excited to see Game of Thrones, because we get to see visual adaptations of the material, the source material, the books that we love. We get to see them visualized on screen and transferred into a new medium, right? So that's one of the things that we get to look forward with House of the Dragon, seeing part of Fire and Blood adapted on screen. But this new book was for, people who are specifically fans of the series, and they want to see what George's influence and into artists and what they can create, right? So this is from the mouth of the cow, so to speak. But really responding to that comment, it's it's understandable. Obviously the person was kind of joking because writer's block shouldn't last 10 years. You all let me know if you think we're going to get Winds of Winter within the next year or so down below in the comment section. Now, the next comment comes from a video that I did more recently, but the person says, and this is from Daniel McDavitt, and they said, "Matt Smith may be the best thing to happen to the franchise since the first season." Now, I agree with that. Matt Smith is, from what we've seen and what we heard, that was him speaking in the teaser trailer, he's going to be the embodiment of the Rogue Prince, right? We all want to see Prince Daemon, who is George R. R. Martin's one of his favorite Targaryens, right? We want to see him on screen. We want to see someone who's not afraid to get his hands dirty. Someone who will use his dragon when needed, but also will use his head just as much, right? Because that's what makes an intimidating and really an awesome character on screen, is someone will beat the shit out of you, yes, but can also beat the shit out of you with words and with his brain. That's a well-rounded Targaryen prince, and Daemon is one of my favorite characters, not only in this TV series, but really in all of fantasy literature. I kind of can't wait to see him on screen, right? So Matt Smith is the actor that's playing him, and a lot of people were sort of thrown back at the casting, we'll say that at the least, mainly because of the way that he looks. And in my opinion, Daemon, who killed men in brawls on the streets of King's Landing when he was known as the Prince of the City and the commander of the Gold Cloaks, right? He should look like he's had his nose broken a few times. But I agree with you, Daniel McDavitt. I think one of the best things that happened to this show is Matt Smith, since it actually been being greenlit into the first season. Another thing, the best thing, in my opinion, is that George R. R. Martin himself is said to have written a bunch of material for this first season. He's been very hands-on and very much a part of the writer's room. Now, the next comments, and one of the last one for this video, I kind of wanted to keep it short, and really if I answer more than a few questions, the video will be like 30 minutes long. But if you all want, let me know down below and I'll do a live stream where I just respond to everybody's questions. We'll pick one topic and it'll be really general and broad, and I'll answer all of y'all's questions. But this is from Casey Teague, and she says, "They're not doing much to advertise or get people pumped about this show, i.e. yet to see the first promo for it on HBO. Well, if you haven't seen the promo, you should have. Came out in October of last year, and it's pretty freaking awesome. Also, I recently retweeted this because I missed it in the sea of like promotional material for House of the Dragon, but it was a video that they did to go along with the new images that they released, where they kind of moved them a little bit. They added flames and embers in the backgrounds, and they switched Daemon's words around a little bit. But the first trailer is really what kicks off the promotional campaign. Like, obviously it's already started. We've gotten new photos. We've gotten way more in-depth costume pictures, right? Those are amazing. We have the official release date announced. But once that trailer comes out, that's going to show a lot more footage of the show and allow the actors and give the directors and the showrunners something to talk about when they start doing these interviews. And then eventually we'll get like whole scenes from the show, like a 1 minute or a 2 minute clip. Maybe it'll be on one of the late night shows. I'm pretty sure Matt Smith and Emma Darcy are going to be doing interviews here soon because they're the stars of this new show. The last comment from this video is from Gary L. Norris, and he says, "Bro, it's time to tighten up and do some history and lore the way that you do so your channel gets back to the top where it goes." Here's the thing, buddy. Almost every single video I do, regardless of the thumbnail and title, always has history and lore and just background information from the A Song of Ice and Fire books. Otherwise, I'd be making videos talking about a show that's been off for 3 years and never referencing the books. Now, if you're talking about history and lore videos in particular, where I like title them that and make thumbnails like that, YouTube's algorithm promotes them down to nothing, right? So, for instance, my 2 most recent chapter breakdowns for the prologue to A Game of Thrones and Breanne 1, they've gotten less than 1,000 views and they've been out for several weeks. So I always have to market my videos and title them the way I do in order for YouTube's algorithm to treat them the right way. I put a lot of time and effort into these videos, and I want them to do well as a result. Thank you all for watching. My name's Mark, and this has been Sir Hunt's Long Night Reviews. Gundere Spandara.